Welcome to Ladies Who Jazz, where each month I interview and feature a different female jazz musician. Today we have the awe-inspiring Megg Farrell, who sings, plays tenor guitar, ukulele, as well as washboard. Meg, thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
When did you first discover that you could sing, and how did you get started in jazz?
Well, I first started singing when I was like 16. I always thought I was a really bad singer. My dad really wanted me to sing. And I played bass in a band and was kind of just like the background stoner bass player. And then I started just writing songs. Basically I was playing ukulele and I found this group online and I thought they were pretty hilarious. So I emailed them and I'm like, when's your next show? Because I live outside the city when I was growing up. And they said, oh, it's at Auto Shrunken Head next week. You want to open for us? And I was like, okay. And so I just wrote some songs, and then that was like the kind of beginning of me writing songs and singing. And then from there, I started doing gigs with this like ukulele scene and started singing more and more. And then I kind of became a songwriter for a couple of years. I did it through college, and junior year of college, I was studying like theory and stuff like that. I decided I wanted to live in France for a year, and I was able to go to this jazz program, and it was a way I could get credit and get to live in France for a year. So I went to a small jazz school just to become a better musician in general for the songwriting, and then started to really like jazz. And I'd never really done it before then. And then when I got back, when I was a senior in college, I was looking for jam sessions, and someone pointed me to Mona's, and I went there and I was like, oh, this is cool jazz. I can get into this, because a lot of the modern stuff was a little daunting for me when it comes to the scene. So when I got to Mona's, I was like, I can do this, because I started with blues and I was into folk and jazz, and it was kind of the perfect mix of those worlds. And everyone was super nice too. And so I just started going there, and after a couple months I started singing there. After a little bit I met the gypsy scene, the gypsy jazz scene, and I started gigging with them. That's kind of how I got my gigging start. And then I started making money in it, so I was like, I guess I'm gonna do this for a while. And now I'm doing it a lot.
Who are your top 3 greatest jazz influences and why?
Billie Holiday, obviously. And recently, more and more, Anita O'Day. Originally, I was like just a little into her, and I read her autobiography, and she was also influenced by Billie Holiday. And she was into drums, which I'm really into rhythm and percussion and stuff like that. And she just like had all these like things that were similar to my experience, and I was just like, this chick's so cool. And like she just like, I don't know, she always just was really sassy when she was talking, and she's like, there's some recordings where like her time is like crazy, like she's one of my big influences. And then I'd say maybe like Coleman Hawkins after that, because I feel like the rest of the singers I like, but they don't hit me the same way. And I feel like, I don't know, he's a saxophone player, and he's showed me all the saxophone players and maybe appreciate it a lot more than I used to. And I feel like of all of them, Coleman Hawkins consistently, whenever I hear him, I'm like, oh my God.
He plays with so much feeling.
Yeah, it's just like, he's just the greatest one. I don't know.
Your phrasing is so beautiful. How did you develop that? And as a singer, what are you looking for when you play with other musicians who are backing you up?
I get bored really easily, to be quite honest. And when I first started singing, the idea of just singing the melody in and then singing the melody out just was kind of boring to me. I was like, why do it twice? I already did it once. So I kind of just started changing the second one. That was like my first one. And at first I was a little bit sloppy probably because I didn't know as much about how to do it. But then I started getting into it. And because, luckily I live with a saxophone player, I listen to him practice all the time. And so I've been kind of integrated more of a practice regimen that's like an instrument. So like, doing more scales stuff and learning the harmonies and doing that so that when I'm going off the melody, I have a better foundation within it. And I also, because I'm really obsessed with practicing with metronomes, because I really like, I don't know, I'm really obsessed with the beat and like it being consistent the whole song. Like I hate dragging so much. It's probably what I look for in people I play with is not dragging, because like, or speeding up. I just hate, because for me, since I'm getting ready for that head out where I want to change shit around, and also like, I like to like listen to solos and kind of where they're heading, hopefully I can do my best to end, to end that kind of story they got into during the solos. So if the music's changed by the time the head's out, I'm like, oh man, like it just is a bummer. So for me, I really like, I practice the metronome so I can have my own internal beat that I can trust. And then if I hear the band, I can just be like, you know, and get, but like I try not to do that as much as I can because I work with such good musicians that they don't, you know, I like this way. I work with the gypsy jazz guitar players because their time is awesome. And like when I'm doing the melody, they're just chunking away and like just that swing is there and it's there the whole time. And I think that's my big thing I look for, especially in guitar players. And other than that, like what I look for is, I don't know, people who really listen to each other and people have a good vibe, because if I don't vibe well with someone and it's like, if people are showy offy or people are really proud of themselves, they don't tend to be team players. Sure. And I'm a big into team player. Like I don't like being the like Megg show. I like to be part of the band, and I think it makes it more fun for everyone. Like I see my singers as the channel to the musicians, because audience can relate to the singer because we're speaking words. So if like I'm not paying attention to the musicians while they're soloing and I'm just like checking my phone, then the audience isn't going to pay attention to them. So I think it's my part to listen to them, and also the same way around, like it's their part to listen to me when I'm singing, to make sure they're really doing what is good for my voice and not just like noodling around or something like that. And all the people I work with are like that, which is great. I have like a huge sub list because the two guys we started the band with have a band already, so they're super busy. So from day one of this band, we've had like 6 guitar players we work with and like 4 bass players. And for me, it's like they have to be killing musicians, of course, but they have to vibe well with me. You have to be fun and like easygoing and like want to have a good time on the gig, because then you just play music better. Like if every gig's just like a hangout, you're going to play the best you can.
Have you faced any challenges doing what you do or continue what you do, and how have you overcome them?
At first, I was like, when I first started doing jazz, like gigging and stuff more, I was still working, because I originally had not planned to do music as a profession. I was originally kind of studying history and wanting to go into research. And so I was working in documentary film, and I started gigging and more offering more and more gigs, and I was making money off both. So I was like, this is sweet. But then my schedule got like insane, and I think that it took a while for me to get used to it, and then I eventually quit that job and like it calmed down a little bit, but then the gigs picked up more. And I think at first it made me a little bit crazy, because it was like, I know I'm very like, I need to get stuff done, I need to be productive. And it's like when you're out until like 3 a.m. and then you sleep and it's like when you're gigging, you're exhausted, so you sleep till noon. And I always felt like a schmuck, so I was sleeping until noon. So that made me a little crazy. But then I like I've kind of realized, I'm like, you know, I sleep the same amount as everyone else. I sleep 8 hours a day. My schedule's like off by a couple hours. So it's okay. Like it's not that big of a deal. And I think the other challenge was being a band leader, because I'm very, I don't know, sometimes I'm very, like I think for a while I was a little bit too, I was kind of a pushover, you know. I would kind of let people like, oh, you don't want to play that song? Okay, we'll play a different one. But it's like that waste time on the bandstand, you know. And sometimes you'd be like, no, we're playing this song. I want to play this song, so we're playing this song. And it was a pretty dark place for a while, because I felt like my musicians weren't listening to me, and I was really unsatisfied with the music because I wasn't getting what I wanted, because people weren't listening to me. And I think my first reaction was to kind of, like I said earlier, be like, you're dragging. You're not playing, you know, like, which was, it just made everyone mad at me. You know, it didn't really help. And it made me more crazy, because I felt like, okay, now no one's listening to me and everyone's mad at me. And now I'm like, I just felt crazy. I was like, I can't work like this. I was like this close to being like, I can't be a musician if this is what it takes. And then I feel like I just kind of, I took some time off and I like calmed down a little bit. And I realized I was like, honestly, just being as nice as you can makes the best things work. Like, and I'm still, I don't know, I can be harsh and crude a little bit. I'm from Jersey, so it comes out. So I'm still working on it. Like, I definitely still can be a little bit of a bitch on the bandstand.
Just tell it like it is.
Yeah,
just tell it like it is.
I'm not perfect, but I'm really, like, my aim is to be like, if you want, like, hey, can we play this song? Because I really like it. Instead of being like, we're going to play this song because I want to play it, not the one you want to play. Like, that's, you know, I'm trying to not be like that anymore. Because it just, being nice and being like kind to everyone, I feel like you really just, it's almost, if you want to be completely selfish, if you're really kind to people, you actually will get what you want. Right. You know, like, even if you're going to do it to be manipulative, like, either way, like, just being nice to everyone is always, I feel like, gonna work the best.
Absolutely.
You know?
It brings the best out of people.
Yeah, it does.
What are you doing presently, and what do you have coming up?
Presently, I'm just still gigging, but we're gonna do an album soon, like a full-length album, which I'm really excited about, because we've done like little EPs, but this one we're gonna do like in a proper studio. and get musicians we want. I'm really excited about that because I'm trying to write more, and since I was a songwriter, I'm trying to get that going again, but that's not really jazz. But I'm trying to start writing in jazz, and like I've started getting into Vocalist, which is kind of because it's just so much fun. And so I'm trying to start writing. I just wrote my first one. I want to like write vocalies of old time tunes because I feel like I love vocalies, but sometimes what I don't like about them is they're like the entire song.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like 3 choruses and no one solos, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Sure. Like I want people to solo and the music to be part of it. So a lot of time what I'm trying to do, like we're working on this one of the Out of Nowhere, Coleman Hawkins, Django Reinhardt.
Oh, cool. And
we're trying to do this arrangement where like I'm going to do a vocalies over the first 2 choruses. So I'm doing 1 chorus and vocalies, and the second one we're going to have saxophone playing. And so I feel like that's more fun to have it mixed in. And I feel like a lot of the trad tunes, what I'm trying to do is maybe like one of the choruses I'll do a vocalies over, and then the rest will be more improvised in the old swing vibe. Because I just love the swing thing so much better. So that's one of the things I'm trying to work on and incorporate into the music. And other than that, just the album, I think that's kind of what we're mainly our goals.
What advice do you have for the girls and ladies out there
okay,
who would like to start playing jazz?
Yeah, I feel like it's important to not let the men kind of overpower the conversation and because it's something that happens in day-to-day life too. You have to really be like, I'm here too, because like there's a thing where people I've had a lot of times happen where we're all in a conversation, and because my boyfriend's a saxophone player and he's always with me and he's a musician, a lot of times men will, like, when talking about music or anything, they just talk through me and straight to him. Like, their eye contact doesn't ever reach me, and it just is like above me. Well, I'm tall, so not above me, but like goes straight to him, and I'm like, no, I understand what you're saying too. Like, sometimes it's over my head, but like a lot of times I do understand what it is, and I'm like, oh, I'm here too. Totally. Like, I'm part of the conversation. And so I feel like it's also hard because if you like try to jut in, people think you're, that like, I'm a woman trying to blah. So that can be difficult, but I think it's important to, like, when you can be like, I'm a part of this, be a part of it. And I think the other thing is not fall into the whole, like, I'm a just gentle woman thing, and save yourself, know how to catch yourself. Like, as a singer, know how to, if you get off the melody, if you get off the key, get yourself there. Don't be like, like, I mean, I'm sure I do that sometimes too, but like, try to not do that. And don't vibe out other females. I think that's a big thing, because it's a big problem with singers, I think. And I think it's because a lot of times men make it happen. Yeah. Like, I was at a jam one time and there was like another singer there, and everyone was like, have you seen the other singer? Have you met her? Have you talked to her? And I'm like, I'll talk to her when I talk to her. Like, totally. Have you talked to every other, like, guitar player in the room? Like, it's like, you see this new guitar player? He's here. It's like, no, it's like, I'm not mad that she's here. I'm perfectly capable to deal with that. Like, I'm not worried. I've had so many people say, like, oh, she's competition now. Like, I'm really close friends with this one singer, Caitlin, who I adore. And there's been a couple people who have been like, oh, she's competition. I'm like, no, she's not. She's my friend, and we're both singers, and we sing together, and I respect her, and she respects me. That's our relationship. I'm not worried about competition in this world. And also, like, just like everyone, when you get to a certain level with the jazz stuff, I feel like all you care about is you're your own competition. You just want to be as good as you can, and like, getting in that competitive thing really rips apart the women, and there's too few of us to do that. So I feel like it's really important to fight that energy as much as you can, because there's a lot of men put you in that position. It really bums me out. Like, I remember I had this conversation with someone, and he was talking about, like, one singer, like this, I think it was like I forgot who, like a famous singer, and I was like, I don't really like her that much. And then he brought up another one. I was like, I don't really like her either. And then I brought up, like, a singer I do really like, and it's like he was saying, well, what, the singers just hate all their singers? And I was like, no, I just don't like all singers, because I'm a singer, so I have a much, like, more, I have a more opinion than you do. It's like, do you like, every trumpet player that you know? And it's like, because he's a trumpet player, and it's like, no, you're right, actually, I'm pretty critical of the trumpet players. And I'm like, yeah, I'm critical of their singers. It's not like because they're women, it's because they're singers, and that's what I do. Right. So I'm going to be very critical.
It's an aesthetic thing.
Yeah, and so that's the kind of shit we have to fight it. You have to, and call people out when they do that. Totally. Call them out, because it's shitty to put us in that position. Yeah. And I hate that. It really bums me out, because that really makes it harder for women when you have to constantly be proving yourself, proving that you're not a bitchy woman. It's like you have to prove all these things that should just be assumed.
And my last and favorite question that I like to ask is, what is your favorite food?
I mean, we eat potatoes every day, so I feel like maybe potatoes without even meaning to. But other than that, Thai food.
Oh, awesome.
Thai food. Yeah, I can eat Thai food every day. I mean, I shouldn't, and I don't because of that reason, but I could.
Very cool.
Anything.
Very cool. Well, Meg, thank you so much for this interview.
No problem.
And for the audience out there, if you've enjoyed this interview and would like to see other ladies who jazz, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to like this video. If you are a lady who plays jazz or know of someone who does and would like to see them featured on this show, please contact me here or on my website, lisalouguitar.com. I'm Lisa Lou. This is Megg Farrell. Keep shedding.